All right, President Trump offering his support to Republican Senate candidate Roy Moore as all eyes turn to Alabama ahead of tomorrow's high-stakes and highly controversial special election.
We want people that are going to protect your gun rights. Great trade deals instead of the horrible deals. And we want jobs, jobs, jobs. So get out and vote for Roy Moore.
So if Roy Moore wins tomorrow, does it help or hurt the president overall? It's a big question. Here now to debate it is contributor to The Hill and the Washington Examiner, Jen Kerns, and Democratic strategist Chuck Rocha. Guys, thanks so much for coming on this morning. Jen, I want to start with you. You know, it's pretty clear the president isn't comfortable in this situation. He is making this all about the issues, saying he's got a job to do and he needs a Republican in that seat. You've got a candidate that has some pretty nasty allegations, in front of him. Where does this stand right now? I mean, is this okay for the president to touch this?
Well, first things first, Rob, I think the president is right. It is critical that Republicans win this seat. Already, the GOP has a razor-thin margin, 52 to 48. And on some days, we have a couple of those members out for health reasons. You have another handful of those members who are moderate Republicans and enjoy poking the White House in the eyes, specifically President Trump. We saw that recently with John McCain on the Obamacare repeal bill. So I think it's critically important here, but the story, I think, tomorrow, the even bigger story is going to be the blowback by the voters of the state of Alabama on the mainstream media, on the elites on the left, who have come into their state and have tarred and feathered a man without any evidence, without any court case. I think the bigger story here tomorrow is not just by the numbers, will the GOP have a win, and it looks like they will, but it will be this absolute blowback against the media.
You make a good point that this hasn't gone through, a court system yet, and it's just allegations at this point. But there's a number of allegations, and they do appear to be credible. And you can tell that the president, it appears, somewhat thinks that they're credible because he keeps saying, I support him because I need a Republican there. Chuck, let's go over to you. How do you think this all plays out? Even if Roy Moore wins tomorrow, is it really a win for the Republican Party?
I think that the Republican Party loses no matter what happens tomorrow. And here's my case for that. If they win, sure, he gets to come to the Senate, and I, as a political consultant, take him and Donald Trump and wrap them in a really nice bow tie around every Republican that's running for office and talk about their own words and use their own words to hurt them. And if he loses, that hurts Donald Trump. It hurts lots of people because Republicans in Alabama, there's nothing. Democrats have no shot at winning any races in Alabama. There's much more. There's 3 to 1 times more Republicans in Alabama, and we shouldn't even be in this race. It just shows you how bad their brand is and how tired people are of all this nonsense in the Republican Party.
Well, I don't think is that fair, Jen, to say that they're tired of nonsense in the Republican Party, or is this just a very tainted candidate?
You know, it's interesting. The allegations here, Gloria Allred has this MO of trying things in the court of public opinion. We did see some disturbing revelation over the weekend. One of the key accusers of Roy Moore coming forward saying she actually partially forged that signature in the yearbook. I think that
not the signature, but the notes attached to it. The
notes attached to it. I think that is significant. Look, I think, again, this is going to be a referendum on the mainstream media elite coming into the state of Alabama. I think there's going to be a great deal of pushback. And my sources say that Roy Moore is actually slightly ahead. He's up 5 to 6, maybe even 7 points. At this point, his last event publicly was last Tuesday. This tells me his strategists are doing the right thing here. They're taking what I call the weekend at Bernie's approach, taking him around, having him wave and smile, but not do too much talking, not to blow that lead.
Yeah, Chuck, the president's daughter has come out pretty strongly in this thing, at least in the beginning. How do you see this all playing out tomorrow? You think that Roy Moore wins this thing?
Look, she should have come out, and I applaud her. You know, as much as I give Republicans a hard time, I do think that what she said and believe in these women and the courage these women had to come forward. Tomorrow, I think it's going to come down to the end. Like I said, Republicans outnumber Democrats in that state like 4 to 1. It's going to be really close. It shouldn't be really close, but the good news for Democrats is they're going to win either way. They're going to have a man who's accused of messing with little girls in the Senate, or we're going to beat Donald Trump.
Yeah, it is a pickle for Republicans. It's certainly a pickle for the president on what to do in a situation where he does need Republicans to get anything done as the president of the United States. All right.
And we still have the presumption of innocence before guilt. I think people are going to push back on that message.
It's important to believe these little girls, too.
I think there's good points on both sides of that. Thank you guys so much. We appreciate it.